Hey Chris, this is Terry checking in from New York after the Tamworth game. So I want to start off by applauding Tamworth. Andy, the Tamworth fan who did the fan opposition match preview, had said that Tamworth had some very good players and a very good coach. And it turns out he was spot on. I thought Tamworth's tactics and especially their physicality really caused Tottenham a lot of problems. So Andy, if you're watching or if Chris could pass on the message, I hope you're really proud of your team. And I would love to hear your reaction to the game as well. As for Tottenham, I thought we were really disjointed, especially with that strong of a starting lineup, which was a bit surprising. It was a bit hard to recognize this as our Tottenham team in the first half. And I know that Ange referenced the pitch, the artificial pitch and the slipperiness. But these are professional footballers. That's a bit of an uncomfortable excuse for me. In terms of the positives, so Mikey Moore, he was clearly rusty in the first half, but I felt like he really got into a groove in the second half. It was a shame that he had to come off at around 65 minutes or so, but understandable given this is his first game back. I thought Basuma was really calm and composed, especially amongst the chaos of that first half. Speaking of calm and composed, Archie Gray, of course. I think we're starting to run out of superlatives to describe Archie Gray. I've heard some Spurs fans say that they see him as a future Spurs captain. I don't want to go overboard, but I'm going to take that one step further and say I could actually see him as a future England captain. Kinski in goal, again, super impressive. I'm going to use that same word again, composed. What was really impressive about him, I thought, was that his ability to really snap into action after long down periods. I want to mention one more player, that's Reguilon, who I thought kind of had an unsung hero's performance. I thought he kind of had an under-the-radar performance and was quite active and had a couple of really good crosses with his left foot. And overall, it's worrying that we need to bring our superstars on at the end to win the game. But in the end, we won the game, and that's all that matters. So on to a really tough fourth round, and on to Arsenal on Wednesday. Come on, you Spurs.
Hi, my name's Jordan Soff. I'm from Loughton in Essex, big Spurs fan and season ticket holder. Spurs never do it the easy way, do they? Through to the fourth round in the FA Cup, but it took 100 minutes to score against non-league Tamworth. Credit to Tamworth, to be fair. I thought they were excellent on the day, probably better than anyone ever expected. To a man, they worked really hard and they made it difficult for us with those corners and those wide free kicks and those long throws being bombed into the box. And that brings me nicely on to Kinski, actually. I thought second game in a Spurs shirt, and I thought he didn't have a lot to do, but what he did do, he did it well. He came out, he caught pretty much every cross, every throw-in, every corner, commanded his area really well. And yeah, it's only 2 appearances, so the sample size isn't very big, but on what we've seen so far, he really is going to push Vicario, I think, for that number 1 spot. He's a very promising goalkeeper, so yeah, it looks to be a great January signing we've made there. As for Spurs, though, too many players weren't really at the races for much of the match. Pretty damning that at times, if you turn the TV on and you weren't really a football fan and you didn't know the 2 teams, you were watching it and you're thinking, well, who is the non-league team here? I think obviously the pitch was a little bit of a level of the artificial surface. Can't use it as an excuse, but obviously the ball was bobbling a lot. We couldn't have those kind of crisp passes that we would do if we were playing at home or even on any kind of nice grass pitch. But even so, the likes of Timo Werner, I don't like to single out players, but just the lack of quality at times, that final third, all the front players, to be honest. Mikey Moore, you can excuse him, been out a long time, been ill for a while, and he's understandably wasn't at the races to start with. He grew into the game, I thought, and kind of started to take players on in that second half. But the final ball as well, there were some overhit crosses from Johnson, from Porro. Just a bit of lack of quality, really. The only bright spark in the first half or the first hour or so was James Maddison. A couple of good nutmegs, a good bit of skill to kind of create space and get a couple of shots away. Forced a couple of saves out of the goalkeeper, who I thought was very good in goal for Tamworth. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a convincing performance, was it? And to need extra time, to have to bring on Solanke and Kulusevski against Tamworth, yeah, as I said, it's quite damning, really. It's not a game that we'll really want to look back and remember. Amazing day for Tamworth, and I think credit to their whole club and the supporters were excellent, and yeah, the players should be proud as they go back to their day jobs. But for Spurs, it's just a game that we're happy to get through, and we're not in history for the wrong reasons. They're being upset by a non-league club. Aston Villa away in the next round's not going to be easy, but you know, we've done well against them the last couple of times, and overall our record against Aston Villa at their place is very good. Villa Park tends to be quite a happy hunting ground, so we'll go there with confidence, but all attention now to Wednesday night. I'll be there at the Emirates, Arsenal v Tottenham Hotspur, the North London derby, and yeah, we really need to put on a performance because, you know, it's just a game that matters so much to the fans, and too many times we've come away, I think, playing Arsenal thinking we should have done more, and we have to leave everything on that pitch at the Emirates. So yeah, tough one against Tamworth, harder than it should have been, but we move on to Arsenal, and it really is a big one. God, I'd love to win so much. We'll see what happens. Come on, you Spurs.
What's happening, people? Harry Scarf here from Scarfy Spurs Talk, also from England, with my thoughts on the game. Obviously ended Tamworth 0, Spurs 3, so a good result, but really doesn't reflect the performance, which wasn't very good. Ange picked a really strong team. I thought to start with, when the lineup come out, I thought good lineup, got the balance right, really strong, but also rested, rotated, and protected, whatever you want to call it. With Deki, Solanke and Son not taking the risk with them, which I thought was right, but also giving players that more a chance from the start. So I thought we got the lineup right, but I think as the game went on, it appeared we lacked that physical presence. I probably would have given Lancashire a start, but in an injury crisis and we're playing a non-league side, Tamworth, my question to Andrew would be, if Lancashire's not going to get the opportunity in this game, when is he going to get the opportunity? If he's good enough to start Galatasaray away, surely he's good enough to start against Tamworth away? No, just a thought. But I thought the players were poor on the pitch. Ange picked the team, then the team's strong enough to go out there and win at the end of the day. Ange picked a lineup with intent and showing respect to Tamworth and respect to the competition, something we didn't do against Coventry, didn't do last season against Fulham, got knocked out round 3 of the Carabao Cup. So this was disappointing. I think the only ones who can hold their head high, Basuma, I've been really impressed with him recently, started to find some consistency. Archie Gray, listen to him post-match, really mature and professional, just like his consistent performances on the pitch, really impressive at centre-back as well. Tough conditions, 18 years old, once again setting a really good example. Kinski, solid, deserved that clean sheet. So them two in particular impressed me. I thought they were good. Maddison in that first half, I think he was good, more in periods as well. I thought in that second half offered a lot. Spence off the bench, I thought done well. But the reality is we had to rely on our big guns in Sol, Solanke and Deki, and we shouldn't have to do that against Tamworth. It is concerning because it's a strong enough lineup. It's worth noting that obviously the players we've got out haven't got the depth off the bench, but Mikey Moore back is a massive bonus. Arsenal also went into extra time their game against Man United. That could help us in the North London derby at the weekend. Didn't expect Arsenal to lose that, but he did. So there you go. United turned the corner maybe as well, but Arsenal proper struggling. Good time to play them. But yeah, Spence done really well when he come on for me at centre back. Really mature. Been really impressed with him recently. I don't think it gets spoken about enough, but some players are poor. Porro, Papa Matesar. But it's a win. We're through to round 4. Breathe. All that matters. But if you're interested in following me, you can at HarryScarf22. I'm a football content creator and YouTuber and multi-platform. You can find me here regular at Spurs Chat Pod. I also have my own YouTube channel and podcast, Scarfy Spurs Talk. A massive, come on you Spurs.